You are listening to selfdiscoverymedia.com, where illumination and inspiration is but a click away. With so many genre topics for you on everything that you need to know in life. We celebrate and share the people who have taken the journey before you and who are now here to serve you with their wisdom and their knowledge. The next show coming up is...
Hello, everybody, and welcome to Recovering the Whole of You. My name is Dr. Kitty Adley, recovery expert and physical therapist from Handling Your Health, Wellness, and Rehab in the Bahamas and beyond. And tonight, I am so happy to have a friend and colleague of mine, Dr. Michael Chau, with us, and he is here to talk to us about dementia. We're talking all things dementia. And this man, I mean, he just personifies what it means to be a caregiver with dealing with people with dementia. I love your tagline. I help dementia caregivers bring out the best in them by offering my books, lives, and online courses. How cool is that? And we get to share time with him tonight. So welcome, Dr. Mike Chau. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, again, thank you very much again, Kitty, for that awesome introduction. I really appreciate you. Well, first of all, my name is Mike Chau. I'm a physical therapist and a certified dementia practitioner. And like what Kitty said, I help bring out the best in our dementia caregivers by offering my books, my ebooks, and live and online courses. And that's my passion. That's my niche. And I try to do that on top of my regular job. So thank you, Kitty, for having me. Appreciate you.
Thank you for coming. And what is your regular job, Dr. Mike?
Oh, I do. We do home health. We do home health contracting for different agencies, and we provide home health therapy. Bring out the best in the clients. So
Good stuff. Good stuff. And where are you based?
thank you for asking. So just so the people know, it's kind of weird because Kitty and I already did that recording earlier. We forgot to click record, so this is like a second roundabout. So earlier. So I'm based here in Martin, Tennessee, in the U.S. So thank you for asking that. We forgot to ask that earlier. How about you, Kitty? Where are you based at?
I'm based in Nassau, Bahamas, but because we're on the World Wide Web, we can be wherever you need us to be with the right click, right? And this is what's so good about this tonight. The reason why I really asked Dr. Mike to come on, because one of my Facebook groups, there was a call put out for a support group for caregivers dealing with people with dementia. And I knew about Dr. Mike and the work that he's doing, and I was just like, he would be a fantastic person to speak to us on that. Now, support groups are in the making, and we want to make sure that when you put together a support group that you have credible, certified people here that are going to help you build the program that is going to cater and meet all of your needs. And I think Dr. Mike will be one of those stakeholders that we'll have in our groups to make sure that we get the best that we need for ourselves as caregivers, not just medical professionals, but what we call our lay people, the husbands, the wives, the daughters, the mothers of people serving patients with dementia. And so this is why we have Dr. Mike on, and he has so many good nuggets to share. So let's jump right into it. What is dementia, Dr. Mike?
Well, first of all, again, thank you for having me. So one thing that we need to learn is to remove that correlation between Alzheimer's and dementia. Dementia is basically that symptoms. It's the symptom. It's a collection of different disease. So dementia is like an umbrella. It's like an umbrella there. And underneath that umbrella are different diseases like the Alzheimer's, the Parkinson's dementia, the vascular dementia with what you call the mini strokes. You got the Crutchfield dementia. You got all these different types of dementia under it. So dementia is actually the symptom itself that manifests through those different diseases. So.
Okay. All right. And we're seeing a rise of it now in our populations for many different reasons. People are talking about toxins in the food, the actual diet itself, exposure to different disease processes, because I've heard that Alzheimer's has been referred to at times as diabetes type 3. So in your experience, have you noticed an increase in dementia or those dementia-related diseases?
That is a great question, Katie. Well, obviously, people nowadays are getting older and older. People are living longer and longer, and we got all this cognitive issues going on. So yes, we will have a spike of increase of Alzheimer's and dementia patients. And one of the reasons why people are living longer is because we've got all this new medication that makes us live longer.
And great
So the
health care.
challenge, mhm, the
And great
challenge
health care.
here is to I mean, it's going to be there. Dementia and Alzheimer's, or that cognitive issue, is going to be there. It's unfortunately, it is a terminal disease, and the only thing that we can do right now is actually learn how to adapt as a caregiver. You know, how do we adapt ourselves? Because right now there is no cure. Until there is no cure, there is care. So we have to learn how to care for these patients that we have right now.
Okay. And what causes dementia?
Right, that is awesome. It's also a great question. First cause is what you call idiopathic. What is idiopathic? Idiopathic means you don't know the root cause. Under the dementia, you've got different types of dementia, like the Alzheimer's. So let's talk about Alzheimer's first. So Alzheimer's, when it's basically a shrinking of that brain. So you just imagine you've got a sponge that is wet, and then you put it out. You know, remember, the brain floats on water. It's called the CSF, or the cerebrospinal fluid.
Right.
Imagine you take out that brain and you put it and lay it out here, and it's going to shrink like that sponge. Same thing with the brain. That brain is shrinking. You know, not, I mean, different parts of the brain is shrinking. And we talked about it earlier. You know, the different causes of or just like a muscle. You know, just like a muscle. So let's go back to that story, Kitty. So this is a muscle, right? This is called the skeletal muscle. This is take two, right? This is the skeletal muscle. All right. When you go to the hospital for a good 2 to 3 days, 2 to 3 days, you automatically lose 85% of your muscle strength. So this is the skeletal muscle. Your heart, it's a muscle. It's called the cardiac smooth muscle, right? Your lungs, they're called a pulmonary muscle. They get weak. What happens when your heart gets weak? You get, you know, pneumonia, bronchitis, or whatever. So they get weak too. Same thing with the brain. You know, same thing with the brain. When you take a picture of it, you know, when you take a picture of it, it's called the white and then the gray matter. Why white and gray? Because the spinal cord looks white, the brain looks gray. You know, that's why there's a show called Grey's Anatomy, right?
Right.
Because they look like gray matter. So that gray matter, it's a brain, right? And it gets weak too. You know, it gets weak. So you've got this, what you call the 5 stages of cognitive decline. It's under the ruling of what you call Kubler-Ross stages of grief, and you correlate that too with the decline of your brain. So what's the first stage? The first stage is what you call the denial stage. Why denial? Because some people, the word denial is actually a river in Egypt, but actually it's not. It's actually a stage of dementia. You know, it's called the anosognosia. Anosognosia. You spell that, Kitty. I don't know how to spell it.
I'll put it in
So,
the comments.
okay. Anosognosia means lack of awareness. Okay, it means lack of awareness. When you have lack of awareness, they deny that the things that they cannot do. You know, so for example, they will pretend and attempt to do what they used to do before, when in fact they can't do it anymore. Just like standing or walking or driving. Okay, so next stage will be the anger stage. Why anger? Because they cannot express themselves anymore. Why anger? Because they cannot do what they used to do before. And we talked about this earlier, Kitty. When I got sick last year, I didn't want to talk to my girls. I just want to talk to my wife, who speaks my native language, which is Tagalog, the Filipino language. So in relation to that, you will always want to ask them questions that are answerable by yes or no. You don't want to ask them questions that are open-ended question. Why? Because when you say a close-ended question, like an answerable by yes or no, you at least get a 50% correct answer. But if you ask them open-ended question, guess what? They're going to process that information in their brain, and they're going to have, you know, it takes them 90 seconds to process that. And once they cannot process that within that time frame, they get confused, they get agitated, and that's where that anger stage comes in. All right. Next stage will be the bargaining stage. The bargain with you, bargain with family member, bargain with priest or God, or any higher being. Okay. And then what's the next stage? Remember that?
Remind
The
me.
depression stage. There you go. The next stage will be the depression stage. So you will see a lot of those patients who are depressed. They will be depressed. So speaking of that depression, you have the
Mhm.
three things in order for the patient to move on to the next stage. So what's the first thing that the patient needs to do when your patient is depressed? First is you need to have medication. Why medication? Because your body has all this what do you call this, hormones that you need to release, like the dopamine receptors, the oxytocin, the serotonin, the endorphins that needs to be released. So you need those medication to control those release of hormones. So the next would be what you call the coaching and counseling. You need you need coaching and counseling in order for that patient to move on forward. And then next will be the therapeutic activities. They need to move, they need to move around. They're when you're not, I mean, I told this earlier, if I haven't been exercising for 2 days and I feel so bad, because motion, the lotion to your joints. If you don't move it, you're gonna get weak.
You
And when
lose
you're
it.
not, you lose it. Now, we always say this: 7 weeks without exercise makes 1 week. So thank you for that question. It's too long of an answer, Kitty. Stop asking me open-ended question.
Okay. So we've decided that this person has dementia, right? What do we do now? Where do we go from here? So the
Okay,
person's on
so
medication, right? Where do we go?
so now that we've decided that the patient has dementia, the first thing that we need to do is learn how to change ourselves. We have to learn how to adjust and change to that situation. So if that patient says it's 1969 and you keep on telling that it's 2019, they're just going to get confused. Let it be 1969. We're going into their world, not to our world. So we go and adapt to their environment. So if you are a caregiver right now, you're watching, you're a nurse, you're a therapist, you're a caregiver taking care of a patient 24/7, you have to learn how to adapt to it. Gone are the days of reality orientation. There's what we try to tell the patient, oh, today is 2019, 2019, 2019. You cannot do that now with your dementia patient. They think that it's 1967, 1968. Let it be 1968 because we have to live in their world. Mhm.
Right. Right. All right. So, I mean, so that's one of the things that happens, that they lose a sense of time and space. What other signs and symptoms would you recognize in a person that has dementia? What other things are we looking for? If
So
somebody is
first,
listening to this and the person has not been diagnosed, because I think a lot we don't, there needs to be more awareness of signs and symptoms, because as we age, is it just that I'm being forgetful? What other signs and symptoms can we look for?
first is we talked about it earlier. The denial. If they are denying things, they
Mhm.
need to, they are lacking awareness. Like what I said earlier, it's called the anosognosia. They are
Mhm.
lacking awareness on their medical condition. They're denying things. Second is the anger. They're very angry with you because they cannot express themselves, or angry because they're forgetting stuff. I mean, in my case as a man, if I forget stuff and my wife keeps on telling me I'm forgetting stuff, I become very defensive. What more for that patient who has dementia?
Mhm.
And those are the symptoms that we talked about earlier. And the bargaining stage, the depression stage, and then the acceptance stage. Those five stages that we talked about. The reason why we want to talk about it,
Mhm.
because if you see those patients and they jump back and forth on those different stages, there could be an underlying reason. If there's a true dementia, they are staying on that stage. They will stay on that stage. But if there is jumping back and forth, there could be an underlying reason. It could be UTI, it could be pneumonia, it could be dehydration, it could be a stroke, TIA, or transient ischemic attack. So there are a lot of reasons. So if you are a caregiver right now and you see all those different stages jumping back and forth, you need to go to a doctor. You need to go to a nurse. Reach out to Kitty. She's the recovery therapist, and she can bring out the best in your patients.
Okay, great. Thank you so much for that. Um, Now, you do fantastic work in terms of education and awareness, and I'd like for you to speak about the courses that you offer in terms of educating and credentialing people, certifying people to become experts in this area, dealing with this population. Can you go into that a bit more?
Oh yeah, thank you very much for asking that, Kitty. And we run the course, the Alzheimer's Disease and Dementia Care Seminar. It is the required course to be a certified dementia practitioner through the National Council of Certified Dementia Practitioner. So it's basically a course that we teach. It's a 2-day course, and basically we teach what is Alzheimer's, what is dementia, what are the root cause, how do you redirect your patient, different stuff like that. It's a basic certification course, and then nurses can attend it, social worker, therapists like us can attend it, and also lay people. That way they could interact with different therapists. The reason why we're also promoting it to lay people is that inside that class, you get to meet therapists too, who are wanting to learn more about dementia,
Mhm.
and you get to interact and network with other therapists, other nurses, that wants to learn more. And then you can eventually ask them, hey, what's going on with my mom, what's going on with my dad, and I cannot do this alone. We need other people, other therapists like you, who can do this and spread out the awareness about dementia.
Good, good. And so maybe, well, not maybe, we're probably going to have you come and do a course in the Bahamas. Now, our
Yeah.
platform is not just the Bahamas, it's worldwide. And we want people to understand that this information is for you. And I'm sure, Mike, are we willing to travel, have passport, willing to travel? Is that it, right?
Yeah.
Great.
I mean, this August 24 and 25, I'll be teaching the Alzheimer's Disease and Dementia Care Seminar online,
Okay.
live online for the US audience. 31st and 1st, it's going to be in the Philippines. It's
Mhm.
also live online. And
Great.
last year I was traveling all over different states to do it, but and the goal here is to educate more people and certify more people, and to be able to do this, because I cannot do this myself. We need more people who can share the good news of hope. And like what I said earlier, until there's a cure, there's a care. We need to learn how to take care of our patient and how to bring out the best in them. Are we showing them verbal and nonverbal signs? Are we providing are we kneeling down and talking to them on your patient's eye level? Are we touching them in their nose, in their personal
Personal space.
space? Hmm.
Mhm. Yeah, I think that's very important. I think one of the greatest complaints, one of the most popular complaints I get is how do I manage my family, my father, my mother when they become agitated and combative? And you talked about personal space. So just tell us a little bit about more of the personal space and the touch that somebody that's listening in right now can get some nugget that they can go and apply to their loved one right after they're finished listening to this podcast.
You know what? Speaking of personal space, one thing that we do with our clients or patient is we do this. Hello, Mrs. Smith. Can you hear me? Can you hear me? And we do that all the time. We go close to their face, and I don't want my wife and kids to do that to me too. So remember, the personal space is actually your one hand like this. That's my personal space here. If you go close to me and then I did give you go ahead, I'm going to be combative to you.
Hmm.
What else? Your facial expression as a caregiver. If I come in with like this, hey, Mrs. Smith, let's go ahead and stand up. Do you think you'll be receptive? No. You come in with Hey, Mrs. Smith, how are you? You coming with that? Your tone of voice. What kind of tone are you portraying? Are you toning? Are you giving a authoritative tone, or are you coming in as a very jolly and happy person tone? Your hand gestures, it's very important, because verbal and nonverbal signs is very important, because Kitty already mentioned earlier, if she has a patient who doesn't speak English and she's having a hard time, so your verbal and nonverbal is very important. So what are the nonverbal? We talked about it already. Your eyes, your hand gestures. Are you doing big movements? Are you doing small movements? Are you putting your hands across your waist like this? Are you doing this? I mean, just this thing here is very intimidating to your patients. And some cultures, they don't want this. Some cultures, they don't want this.
Right.
And I mean, U.S., Bahamas, we have all this different cultures now, and it's just a melting pot. And you have to learn and know who and what your patient needs and wants. So identifying what your patient really needs. And we talked about it earlier, Kitty, that only the actual caregiver, the loved ones, can actually identify what is really appropriate to that person. Because I can give all the tips, Kitty can give all the tips, but if you don't know what's really going on with that patient, it's not going to do you good. Why? Because, like what I mentioned earlier, we have this patient who we thought was wanting to go out the facility. Well, apparently, she just wanted to go to that door and open it and check if her husband is coming home or not. Simple as that. She didn't want to go out. So we put a plan of care. Okay, we'll take the patient to go to that door and just open it and then check. Okay, my husband's not home yet. Boom, and then come back. Simple as that. You have to know if that patient is, you have to have a personalized plan of care. Thank you for that question, Kitty. I'm
Great.
talking too much.
No, you're talking just enough. And we can't cover everything in this call. And I know I have to let you go back to your wonderful family. But you have some great tools. Tell us about the book that you have online that people can download and get the information, more information about this on.
Thank you for reminding that, Kitty.
Hmm.
If you want to know more about dementia, the book is free to download. It's on my website, drmikechua.com, drmikechua.com. It's free, but if you decide to print it out and give it to a family member, don't print it out, because it's like 80 or 90 pages. It's going to cost you more. So I would recommend is buy it at Amazon. It's just like $3. And I told this to Kitty earlier. I'm only earning a cent or two because it's just the print cost through the publisher. So go download it for free. If you read it in your tablet or in your phone, that's good. But if you actually want to read the actual paper copy, you can buy it at Amazon, Amazon.com. It's like what says it's like $3. And yeah, thank you very much, Kitty, for having me in your show.
Awesome. So, as we wrap up, anything we didn't cover that you want to share? Anything that we should mention and focus on?
One thing I always tell, okay, one thing I always tell, you cannot give what you do not have. Us therapists, after an 8-hour day at the office, we come home and we rest and relax. Nurses, my wife is a nurse. After her 12-hour shift, she comes home and relax. If you are a caregiver right now, taking care of your loved ones 24/7, you have to take care of yourself. You cannot give what you do not have. Like money, I cannot give to my daughters or kids money if I don't have enough money myself. Same thing with caregiving. That's why it's called caregiving. You're giving care to your loved ones. If you cannot take care of yourself, you cannot take care of somebody else. Just like in the airplane, when that they always explain to you, when that oxygen mask comes down, you have to put that oxygen first to yourself before you could help somebody beside you. Same thing with caregiving. If you are taking care of your loved one right now, you got to take care of yourself. If you need help, go to your doctor, or best, go to Kitty. She's a recovery therapist. Excuse me. She's a recovery therapist. She can take care of you physically, uh, recovery, or whatever. She will take care of you, both you and your loved ones. Again, thank you very much, Kitty. I appreciate you for having me in your show.
Thank you so much for coming on. Just give us your contact information one more time. We are going to put it in the comments below, but we want to make sure that we have it on audio. So go ahead. Where can we
Again,
find you?
You can check out my website, drmikechua.com. And also you can email me at mike@drmikechua.com. Thank you, Kitty. Appreciate you and have a good night.
Thank you, Dr. Mike. Thank you to our listening audience. We hope that we've enlightened you. We've created a bit more awareness on dementia and Alzheimer's and the many facets of it. You know now that you have a fantastic resource in Dr. Mike Chua. I am available however I can help. I will be doing his certification course because there is a need for it. Especially in the Bahamas. And as we build our support group, we need to know that we have the skills and the training. And I'm definitely signing on for that. And I encourage anybody else listening, if you're in the Bahamas or even in any of the other countries, to sign on for this, especially if you don't have the resources available wherever you are in the world. So again, Dr. Kitty Adderley, recovery expert and physical therapist from handling your health, wellness, and rehab in the beautiful Nassau, Bahamas, but also beyond. Enjoy your day, and until next time, take care of yourself.
We hope that you enjoyed the show and were inspired. Come and visit us at selfdiscoverymedia.com and see what other shows we have for you. And please do visit our selfdiscoverycommunity.org and see how you can be a part of giving back. Thank you very much.